I turned the Sorry board game into a brutal full body workout. By the end of this video, I'll show you exactly how to run this game yourself with cheap supplies, simple rules, and enough chaos to keep everyone moving. For simplicity, I'll be explaining the rules using the classic board game Sorry and these LEGO minifigures. You'll notice that each of the LEGO minifigures has a hat designating which team he's on. Now, when I played this in real life, we just used colored bandanas, but obviously you can use whatever works for you. And also, before you start thinking, okay, this is great, but I don't have enough people to be able to play something like this, stick around because I'm going to be addressing that later as well. Most of the classic Sorry game rules still apply. For instance, if you land on a slide, you still go through and send anybody in your path back to start. Also, you can't land on the same space as a teammate. Here are the main three differences between the original version and the workout version. First, everyone is playing at the same time, so there's no turn taking. Second, instead of using cards to determine movement, each player has a pair of dice that they'll be rolling to determine where they're moving. Third, each space has an exercise on it, and players can't move from that space until they finish all the reps of that exercise. If someone lands on you while you're mid-exercise, you have to finish your reps, then get up and go back to start and begin all over again. The dice rules for this game should be fairly familiar if you're already used to the classic Sorry board game. If you roll a 2 or 3, you get to move off of the start position onto the first space. If you're already on the board, you just move that number of spaces. Or if you're on start and you roll a 12, that's going to be the same thing as completing a Sorry. Now, if you know the original board game, there was a special card that said Sorry, which allowed you to move from the start position and knock another player back to their start position. Since we're dealing with dice and we don't have a special die for Sorry, I just made 12 equal a Sorry. Now, if you're already on the board and you roll 12, you just move 12 spaces. The other numbers that are a little different are if you roll a 4, then you have to move backwards 4 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4. If you roll a 7, you can split that number between you and a teammate. This is where it's really helpful because let's say one of them rolled a 7, so you could do 2 spaces for him and take advantage of the slide and then move the remaining 5 for this teammate. And then the other number that's a little different is an 11, and an 11 allows you to swap places with an opponent on the board. And so if you're trying to get ahead a little faster or something, you roll an 11, you can just swap places with them and do it that way. Or you could move 11 spaces. It's up to you which one you would rather do. All the other numbers, you just move forward that number of spaces. There are 60 spaces around the perimeter of the board, and I didn't want to have to come up with 60 different exercises, so I just used 30 different exercises and then repeated it on the other half of the board. And then also for each space directly off of the start position, all of those spaces had the exact same exercises so that every time someone got on the board, they had to start with the same exercise as everybody else. Some exercises require a cinder block. So not only do you have to carry your block throughout the game, you also have to complete lunges whenever you're moving from one space to the next. Once you finally make it to the safety zone, you will then begin only rolling 1 die at a time instead of 2 dice. Now you might be thinking, hey, it's the safety zone, it's gonna start getting easier. Well, not actually the case, because now each space of the safety zone requires 100 reps of whatever designated exercise is on the space. And you can't get home until you roll the exact number to get home. Now, if you don't roll the right number, if you roll too high, you don't have to repeat the same 100 exercises you just did. But you just keep rolling until you get a number you can move. So for instance, if you rolled too high, you just roll again. Let's say you roll 2. Now you do the 100 reps of whatever exercise is on that space. As far as materials you'll need to build the life-size Sorry board game, first you'll need chalk to draw on the sidewalk to make your spaces around the board. And then I used hula hoops for the start and home positions. And then for the safety zones, I actually just took painter's sticks and taped them together with duct tape. And that's how I made the little safety zone. So really simple. You can obviously make this as intricate and detailed as you want, or as more basic and get the job done, kind of like I did. As far as the stuff for each player, you're gonna need, like I said, a bandana or something to indicate which team someone's on. Each player is gonna need to have their own pair of dice, and each player is also gonna need to have a cinder block. Now, pretty much everything I bought to make this game, I got at the dollar store. The only exceptions were the cinder block, which came from a hardware store, and the bandanas, which came from my local Hobby Lobby. Otherwise, everything else came from the dollar store, so it's a pretty cheap game to put together. And honestly, you could still do the game without having any bandanas. You wouldn't even have to have a special safety zone ladder like I had. You wouldn't have to have hula hoops. Those are kind of all extra things that I thought were fun just to give it more of an aesthetic appeal. This game would have been way harder for me to pull off if it weren't for my local chapter of a group called F3. F3 is a free outdoor workout community for men. It's open to all, always outside, peer-led, and every exercise ends with what they call a circle of trust. It's a great way for guys to build community while also staying in shape. This started as a board game and turned into one of the most exhausting workouts I've done. If you want to try to run this with your own group, I've listed all of the rules as well as the full list of exercises in the description below.